Really excited to have all of you in the class.
Namaste.
Namaste, how are you doing?
I'm good. आप कैसी हो?
Namaste, how are you doing? Okay, so 1 minute and then
I'm good. आप कैसी हो?
Namaste, how are you doing? So I request 1 minute and then
I'm good. आप कैसी?
Okay, I'll just share it on some of the pages and then we'll get the class started. All right, let's get the class started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Hindi University. Really excited to have all of you in this Sunday class. As you know, my name is Ashutosh, and we meet every Sunday 8 a.m. US Pacific time, which is the time in the west coast of the US, and we learn about the Hindi language. For those of you who are new to Hindi University, you can learn more about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University, and you can find a lot more videos that we have, that we have covered in the previous, 10 plus years. If you're interested in joining the live interactive sessions, you can find all the details on this page, tiny.cc/Hindi University. It's one word. You will have all the details about how to join the live classes and also the practice session that we have regularly. We've been following the book called Teach Yourself Hindi, which is a book written by Professor Rupert Nell. So if you missed any of the previous classes, you can find all those lectures on this link as well. Okay. And then we have like a library of all the lessons. So if you want to sort lessons based on the topic, if you want to do a quick refresher, that's your way to go. Also, if you want to help me in some of those initiatives, there's a volunteer section as well. So all those details you can find it there. So with that being said, as you know, we've been working on the book Teach Yourself Hindi, and so this class I expect it to be intermediate to advanced level. So in case if some of you are lost, just hang in there because this is an advanced topic. So it'll come with practice. So don't feel that you are the one not able to understand what's going on. So in chapter 16, when we started last time, we started about talking about conjunct verb. Typically, when you're starting the language, you will learn very, very basic verb like chalna, to walk, sona, to sleep, bolna, to speak, as well as like, sochna, to think, like very, very basic verb. Um, Let me just make sure that. And then as you started learning more, then you learn about like, what you have to differentiate between what is a transitive verb, what is an intransitive verb. Then you start learning language more, and then you're like, okay, there is more variation. I have to learn about regular verbs and
Regular
irregular.
verbs and irregular.
So there's some noise here. Let me just make sure that you are muted. And then as you evolve even further, then you start looking at more variations, whether it is conjunct verb versus the and even within conjunct verb, which form of the verb it is. So my goal for this class is, by the end of this class, you will brush up the conjunct verb that we discussed in the previous class, and you will be able to utilize them in your day-to-day language, okay, conversation. And more importantly, if somebody else is using it, you'll be able to spot it. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get started. I'll do a quick recap of what we did in the previous class, and then we'll jump right into how to use them in your daily conversation. So a quick recap, if you guys remember, who remembers the definition of conjunct verb? Anybody? You can raise your hand, using the Zoom feature. Okay, and you can also, um, and I can like kind of see who, right. So good number of you are are willing to participate. Okay, let's see. I think a lot of you are just joining, so I'm. Sunita ji, you want to tell us what is a conjunct verb? If you recall.
It's a verb which is used with tense.
Very good. Okay. So, okay. Anyone else would like to give it a try? Okay, Trisha, you want to unmute yourself?
Wait, I think you said conjunction last class, not conjunct.
Yes. Yes.
You
So
said it was a noun and or a verb plus an adjective.
that's right. So when you have a set of nouns and adjectives, when they are
Plus a verb, noun or adjective plus verb equals the conjunction verb.
that's right, right. So that's what we covered in the previous class, right? So when you have, noun and adjectives, they are used along with, they're joined with a verb. That's called a conjunctive word. Okay, and the most common form of the verb is when the noun and adjective they're used with the word called karna. That's the most common one, but that doesn't mean that's the only one. Okay, and if you remember, we started giving examples such as like homework karna. Like homework by itself is not a word. Where you're using like one word along with the other. Initially, we used some of the English examples, okay, and then we said like homework karna, exercise karna, and then Rupert he uses very simple examples such as saf karna, okay, or similarly shuru karna. So if you recall, we learned about Saf Karna and we learned about Shuru Karna. Okay, Saf Karna is to clean, Shuru Karna is to start. So I'm just doing a quick recap because some of you may have missed the previous class. So, just so that you have the context of what we learned and how we made progress on them. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick refresher, so I'm not going to ask any question. So if you guys recall, if you're making a simple sentence such as I clean a room, I clean a room, we started making simple sentence such as मैं room साफ करता हूँ. For a male, that's how a male will say. मैं room साफ करता हूँ. Okay, you remove the na from the word and you conjugate it for a guy. मैं room साफ करता हूँ. For a girl, it would be मैं room साफ करती हूँ. Right? You remove the na and you will put t and you will conjugate it for. But let me finish it. Otherwise, I'll
So
lose
then
the.
when
Yeah. Okay. Finish your question now.
do you use karna if you use karta and karti?
Okay. So I'll come to that also. Right now, when you're using it in the present tense, which is like I clean, you remove the na and you put ta or ti. Okay. This is the infinitive form of the verb. So you remember it like that, right? Just for example, to clean, to start. This question is similarly like, when do you use to clean or to start? Okay. So it'll come slowly. Okay. Just remember right now that in present tense, you will say, मैं room साफ करता हूँ, मैं room साफ करती हूँ. Right. So let me erase this one. Now, if you recall, this is basically we started with that, like whereas मैं room साफ करता हूँ for male, करती हूँ for a female. So you have a subject, okay, you have object, and then you have a verb. And if you recall, we learned about, in this case, we discussed whether it is a transitive verb or a intransitive verb, and the consensus was it is a transitive verb because the object is receiving the action of the verb. Something is getting clean. The room is getting clean. That's why it is a transitive verb. Okay, we we took a variation out of it. So far we were saying noun adjective plus karna. Okay, then we said what if What if it's said in a different way? If the same sentence, it is written as room gets cleaned. Okay? And we determine that there are cases when there is no direct object. Okay? In those cases, we said like it's instead of karna, you say hona. Okay? There's when there is no direct object here. Okay? And it is in English, you know, you will notice that in scenarios like this, to clean is the verb which is used in both cases. It is serving the purpose when the sentence is said in a transitive way as well as intransitive way. However, in Hindi, you have to use some variation. When the conjunctive verb, the type 1 conjunctive verb, when they are used in a transitive form, you put karna along with it. When they're used in the intransitive form, you put hona along with it. Okay? Stay with me if it is too hard. Just like, as I said, this is like an advanced topic, so I don't expect it to just come naturally. So similarly, if you use the other verb that we practice, like start, like I start my work, मैं काम शुरू करता हूँ, right? And the other one was work starts. Okay, you don't really have an object that is receiving the action of the verb. Okay, then you say काम शुरू and then the form of होना, शुरू होता है. Okay, so that's the first form of the verb that we learn when it comes to the conjunctive verb. Okay, so this is where we spent a good amount of time last class, and then we took a detour. We were like, this is not it, there's more than that. Okay, and we started learning about the type 2 conjunctive verb. Type 2 conjunctive verb. And we started with madad karna. Madad karna, which is to help. Okay, madad karna, it's to help. And I started with if you want to say something simple, which is I help. Okay, let's see. Olena ji, how will you say that in Hindi? I help.
मैं मदद करती हूँ.
Very good, right? So for you, girl, you will say मैं मदद करती हूँ. It's a simple one, like it's because that's basically for a female. मैं मदद करती हूँ. So you remove the na and you put t. Same thing, Olena ji, if you have I help Ria. How will you say that?
मैं रिया को मदद करती हूँ.
So I'll put Ria here, मैं Ria, and then something will go here, मदद करती हूँ. What will you, you're using some extra word here, a post position.
I said ko, but I'm not sure.
Will this be ko or something else?
I'm not sure. I would put ko. मैं रिया को मदद करती हूँ.
So it's, let's see, Kelly ji, what do you think?
Ki
Key,
madad.
why key?
Because I know it's like Gandhazar Karna and some of those others. I just know it's ki madad karti.
Okay, good. Because it's ki madad
Oh,
karna.
it's it's. I remember the translation was weird. It's like the help of. He translated it weird, Rupert Snell. But whoever you're helping, the key goes after it.
Yeah. So basically, this is second form of conjunctive verb, which is it's based on the gender of this word, the base noun of of your conjunctive verb, the base noun. Okay, and that's why it's basically if this is feminine, you will use ki. If this is masculine, then you will use ka. Okay, now the the one of the toughest question is, how do you determine what is considered feminine versus masculine in Hindi? There are some rules that we have covered in the basics, but as things evolve, like as things is more complicated, there is no easy or right and like 1 or 0 type of an answer that I can tell. There's no rule that I can give that will fit across the board. So that thing will just come with practice. Okay, so just like it came naturally to Kali ji, with practice, that ki madad karna. Okay, Rupert Snell also says that this is literally like the possession of this object. Like just like we have Ria's sister. How will you say that? Originally, Ria's sister.
रिया की बहन,
Ria ki behan. Very good, right? Ria ki behan. And Ria's brother would be
रिया का भाई,
just like that. Ria's help would be,
रिया की मदद,
yeah. So Rupert Snell says that it's almost equivalent to some possession of this object. That's why you're using ki madad. Okay, that's another way of learning it. But for the purpose of this class, you just try to remember this verb as to help is ki madad karna. की मदद करना, to help you just get through this thing easily. Okay, so we learned in the previous class all the masculine conjunctive verb, such as का इंतजार करना. Okay, if you guys recall, का इंतजार करना, to wait for someone. Okay, we also learned about to arrange, का इंतजाम करना. Okay, then we learned about to use का इस्तेमाल करना. Okay, all of them they're using का before the conjunctive verb. Okay, in this one we are using की मदद करना. So to recap, when you say I help, मैं मदद करती हूँ. I help Riya, you will say मैं, just because there is a name here, object, you will say मैं रिया मदद करती हूँ. But the challenge was that there is an extra post position that is coming. Okay, so that's basically the rule that got introduced in the previous class, that when the conjunctive verbs, they are used in such a way that they are the possession of an object, you put ka, ke, ki based on the gender of the base noun of the conjunctive verb. Okay, I know this is a pretty loaded thing I said, but try to take a breathe and it'll come. Okay, I help.
When do you use ko?
When do we use ko? So I'll come to that as well. Okay, it's a separate topic altogether, but we'll definitely cover that. Okay, and I'll definitely call you when I start covering ko.
Ashu Ji,
Yeah.
मेरे एक सवाल है. So
हाँ.
like मैं इस्तेमाल करती हूँ, but I'm not like
Very good.
you know what I mean, but like I don't use ka istemal karna. Like it's funny, I'm trying to think of what's an example of ka is, like I would just say like मैं computer istemal karti hoon. Like when do you use the ka istemal karna?
So that Rupert Snell says is it's optional. Sometimes you can omit it. मैं computer का इस्तेमाल करती हूँ versus मैं computer इस्तेमाल करती हूँ. They mean the same thing. So is that what you're asking? Like, can I use मैं computer इस्तेमाल करती हूँ versus मैं computer
Like
का.
the other ones don't seem complete without it. Like ka intezar karna or ki madad karna, like that makes sense to me, but I just didn't think of, I was trying to think of a use for ka istemal karna, like where you would be, what it would be. So you're just saying if it's optional.
You can omit it. You can omit it. It's not, for example, I had like one of the example that I was going to cover, he used the car. Okay. You can say उसने कार इस्तेमाल की, उसने कार का इस्तेमाल किया. Okay, so they are conveying the same meaning, but to a listener, it's not really like they're completely off, in terms of that. But I think your question is, can I use का इस्तेमाल करना? का इस्तेमाल करना. So let's say you're cooking something. Okay, and if I ask you, आप बिरयानी में कौन से मसालों का इस्तेमाल करती हैं?
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, I ask you a question and I put in ka before istemal. Okay, I can also say aap biryani mein kaun se masale istemal karti hain. You won't even notice the difference. It
Okay.
just, I just said it with ka istemal karna versus without that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, great question. So basically, in this one thing to remember is, as I said, like, look at the gender of the base noun, okay, of the conjunctive verb, and you put this thing accordingly. If this part is too hard, that think of it as like the position of the object that you have. So just like Riya's brother, Riya's sister, think of it like Riya's help. Okay, just like weight of the train, weight of the plane, wait for Riya. रिया का इंतजार, like ट्रेन का इंतजार, you have ट्रेन का इंतजार, प्लेन का इंतजार, रिया का इंतजार. Okay, it's almost like a possession of this object. That's why that's another way I thought of, like that could be an easier way for you to just relate to that. Okay, now I'm gonna take speed up a little bit. This is a lot of recap. So just remember, to help is ki madad karna. Remember as that, ki madad karna. Now we will continue to learn the second form of the conjunctive word, where you have ki at the beginning. The second one I have is going to be quick, which is to look for. To look for, or to search for something. To look for or to search for. Tomji, you want to tell us what is to look for or to search for?
Ashu Ji, I'm sorry, did not remember that verb.
Okay, it's a new one, right? I just thought maybe.
Ashu Ji, ढूंढना or coach करना, is it
Okay,
coach
very
or
good.
search or something like that?
That's right, you can use that. Both of them are correct. Okay, the one Rupert Snell is using, which is synonym of what you said, it's ki talash karna. Ki talash karna. You guys probably remember the movie Talash, right? I mean, Amir Khan movie. Very, there was suspense in the end. So, ki talash karna. Okay, so let's say I have a quiz for all of you. It's a longer sentence, but because I have confidence that all of you will be able to deconstruct this one. Okay, the question is, what are you looking for? And don't say the answer yet. You can use the Zoom chat or the Facebook chat to answer it. What are you looking for? And you can use ढूंढना as well, ढूंढना verb as well as खोजना. ढूंढना is the most casual one. That's the most common one. खोजना and तलाश करना, it's slightly more like, the usage is lesser than ढूंढना. ढूंढना is as I said, is the most commonly used one. What are you looking for? So it's just like, the case, think of a scenario where you are in a room. My kids, sometimes they're looking for something all the time, right? I mean, so it's like, what are you looking for? Okay, in that case, it'll come from me. So let's see who would like to try this one. Nandini ji, you there?
Can I try?
But I'll come to you, but okay, I want to make sure everyone.
I was hoping that I wouldn't be asked this. I'm just trying to write it and I don't. तुम
if you need
किसी
time,
की तलाश करते हो? No, is it wrong?
So
Maybe.
it's correct. Look at the word. What are you looking for?
Looking for is तलाश करना. No.
Okay, that's
If
right.
it's तलाश करना, something
To
की
look
तलाश
for.
करते हो.
Okay, so which tense form it is right now?
Looking for. Oh, कर रहे हो.
Very good, right? So
What are you looking for?
Yeah, so आप Okay, good. You already said it, so I get
आप
it.
so की तलाश कर रहे हो, and I think it's किसी की, or I don't know which one you'd say for
Okay.
what,
So let's say
for what
आप की तलाश
कर रहे हो.
very good. की तलाश कर रहे हो. You can say
हो.
हो. You can also say हैं. आप किसकी तलाश. Now the question is, what is that interrogative that you will put here? Okay.
If it's a person, I'll say किसी की.
Okay.
But for a thing, I'm not sure.
You can say चीज किस चीज की इंतजार कर रहे हो.
हाँ, हाँ.
But essentially they both are together. किसकी in Hindi, even though the verb you're learning is की तलाश करना, okay, when it is used with this, आप किसकी तलाश कर रहे हो, that's how you will say that. Okay, and I'm sure Trisha and Anushka, you probably wrote it as well. I want to make sure I read it, your sentence as well. आप क्या आपकी तलाश करती हैं. Okay, so just to recap for Trisha and Anushka, when you have the verb ending with ing, this is the continuous form of the tense. Okay, in those cases you remove the na and you will put raha, rahi, rahe at the end. Okay, and when you say what are you looking for, just like Nandini said, aap. Okay, aap, and then की तलाश करना is the verb. So where you remove the na and put रहे हैं, तलाश कर रहे हैं for masculine plural, and then you put किस. आप किसकी तलाश कर रहे हैं. Okay, you can type any questions on the chat as well, just in case if it is still not clear. Right, Heather ji, thoughts? Okay, not okay?
Yeah, I think I would say the only thing maybe like आप किस चीज की तलाश कर रहे हैं,
Okay.
but that makes sense.
Okay.
The kiss is just the oblique form of kya.
Yep, that's right. Right. So what she's saying is kiss is the oblique form of kya. So you can say आप क्या ढूंढ रहे हैं as well. Right? Is that what you are implying indirectly? That if I want to say it, if I don't want to use the verb की तलाश करना, and if I want to use ढूंढना, I can say आप क्या ढूंढ रहे हैं. Right? Good. Awesome. So far, just remember we did to help, which is की मदद करना. We did this one to look for is की तलाश करना. Okay, and then we'll do the next one, which is to look after. I'll try to repeat it so you don't forget it. That basically we are going over a good number of these conjunctive words where the base noun is feminine, and that's why it's की मदद करना, की तलाश करना, and then the next one is to look after. To look after. Okay, to look after, and that's basically की देखभाल करना. की देखभाल करना. की देखभाल करना. Okay, so let's say you have a sentence like she will look after my house. She will look after my house. Okay, all of you, you can type it, the answer, so that way, I can just make sure that it's getting strengthened, the concept. And hopefully this should be easy. I would have asked Ted, but I think his connection is a bit spotty. You can type it, Ted, if you can hear me.
I can say it.
Oh, you awesome! Go for it. Good to hear your voice.
So what was it? She will look after my house.
My house. So first do this one, my house, and then this one, and then mix everything together. My house is
मेरे घर.
mera ghar, right? If it is just my house, it is mera ghar. Okay, awesome. She is
वह.
वह. Casually you can say wo as well. Okay, awesome.
वह.
Awesome. And then mix everything, combine everything together.
वो मेरे घर की देखभाल करेगी.
Okay, awesome. So it's basically वह मेरा घर and then plus की तलाश
की
and then you have
देखभाल
करना.
करेगी.
Okay, with
Oh, she's
no,
what's
I know
looking
what you're
after my house.
saying. So you have to say it for future tense, which you already said it. But what Ted is saying is, you know, you have these pieces, bunch of these pieces. So she is वह और वो. My house is मेरा घर. If it is just said independently, the verb is की तलाश करना. But if you look at it, it is said in the future tense. Okay. Now Ted already answered
I
it.
thought
Yeah.
she's looking after my house.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I think I mentioned. Oh my God. की देखभाल करना. Sorry. You're right. देखभाल. की देखभाल. Okay. So when you combine everything together, it will be वह और वो. Now because of this key, you change into an oblique case.
Ah.
And वो मेरे घर की तलाश. No, देखभाल. And because this karna will be said in the future tense, it will be, as you said, it will be करेगी.
करेगी.
Awesome. वह मेरे घर की देखभाल करेगी. Questions, anyone? No questions? Anushka, Trisha, question?
Can you repeat what you said?
I said any questions on this one? वो मेरे घर की तलाश करेगी और देखभाल करेगी.
Karegi is for the future, right?
That's right. Karegi is for the future.
Okay.
Yeah. Karna is the verb, you know, along which is used with dekbal. And then when you said in the future, it'll be, you know, you conjugate it accordingly. Karegi. Okay. So we'll do the next one. Okay. So just recall so that way at least you remember for some days at least to help that we did. Okay. And then we did to search or to look for. And then we did this one to look after. Okay, then we'll do the next one. We'll do two more, and then there is slightly advanced topic after that. Okay, so the next one I have is basically to put someone down. To put someone down. To put someone down or to badmouth someone. To badmouth someone. Okay, or to speak ill of, or to speak ill of. So saying something bad for someone. Anyone can guess? Tom, can you guess what this thing is? How will you say this thing in Hindi?
Would I use the adjective mushkil?
Mushkil hai. Okay, you can say that it's hard.
May I try?
Please.
Is there a word? I think we have an equal word in Tamil, so I'm guessing it's the ninda or something.
Okay,
Ninda karna?
you can say ninda karna.
Because we have a similar word. That's why.
Yeah, which one is it?
Nindanai. It's a similar, same.
Okay. So Rupert Snell
Nindai.
uses this one. Yeah, Rupert Snell uses it, but on a day-to-day conversation, you will not see Hindi speakers using it that like commonly. Rupert Snell, although in the book he says ninda karna. Okay. More common one is burai karna. Burai karna. Or because this is feminine, you will say ki burai karna. Ki burai karna. Okay. Now let's yeah.
Have you ever heard someone say "Gali's baat karna"?
Say it again, louder.
Gali's baat karna.
Kani's baat karna. I think I'm missing the word.
Gali's. As in,
Maybe in the context. Maybe if you say it in a sentence, I'll tell you whether it
type
makes
it in
sense.
the chat.
Yeah, you can put it in chat also. That will work.
So Ashu Ji, is burai just like bad mouthing?
That's right. That's right. To badmouth someone, bad mouthing, ki burai karna. Somebody's asking, Anirudh, are you Hindi cowboy? It's anonymous, okay? So they will not say yes or no, right? So anyway, so to badmouth someone is burai karna, and as Nandini ji mentioned, the more formal way of saying it is ninda karna, okay? In the textbooks, you can definitely see this one, ninda karna. In the newspaper and all, or in the casual conversation, you will hear ki burai karna, okay? So let's say I'll start with a very simple one. She was bad mouthing her teacher. So she was, and all of you should attempt this one. She was. This is a simple one. Then we'll do the interrogative. She was bad mouthing her teacher. She was bad mouthing her teacher. All of you are, and I'll try to use the verb that you're mentioning. Just mentioned, and then Hindi cowboy, and we'll see whether it will work or not here. Galees
Can I
baat
try?
karna. The galees, you will not hear it. I think probably it's Urdu, if I have to guess. We can ask the Professor S.P. Singh ji if you can type it as well. When will you use galees? And whether it is most commonly used or not. And I think there was one comment or question. You can say it again.
Can I try this one?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
वो अध्यापक की बुराई करना
Okay, so let's see. She is वह, okay, वो, and then her teacher.
वह अध्यापक
Okay, adhyapak. Adhyapak, or you can say teacher also, that's fine. Adhyapak, and then
वह अपनी अध्यापक
uh-huh.
बुराई करना की
Remember?
बुराई करना
Okay, ki, and it is in continuous tense, in the past continuous tense. Ki burai, you remove the na in continuous and you put raha, rahi, and rahe.
कर रही
Very good. Ki burai kar rahi, and then past. For present, if you're saying she is bad mouthing her teacher, burai kar rahi hai. For past, it would be
हूँ
so for present, it's burai kar rahi hai. If I'm doing it, burai kar raha hu. Okay. For past, if I'm saying it, वह बुराई,
थी
that's right, वह अध्यापक की बुराई कर रही थी. Yeah. And you said something here. What's the word you're using here?
अपनी
अपने. वह अपने अध्यापक की बुराई कर रही थी. Awesome. I hope you saw how she deconstructed the sentence, all of you, and then I hope you were able to see how you can do the same thing. Yeah. Okay. वह अपने अध्यापक की बुराई कर रही थी. Now this will not really foot. I will not say galees here. Even though it could be the case that it means similar, but let me see if there are any questions here. वह अपने शिक्षक की बुराई कर रही थी. That's correct. And thanks for trying, Trisha, as well. वो उसकी अध्यापक की बुराई कर रही थी. So even if you want to use उसका, you will say उसके टीचर की बुराई कर रही थी. Okay. Because of की, it will become uska becomes uske. Okay. Right. Apne is right. I mean, essentially, if you were using grammatically, you will say वह अपने अध्यापक की बुराई कर रही थी. Alright, so we'll do the opposite of this one. So far we did. Actually, there's one more sentence, and which is basically like, why would I? And this is a little slightly harder. It's not that hard. Why would I badmouth you? Why would I badmouth you? Slightly harder, but I think with considering most of you guys where you are, I think it should be fine. Why would I badmouth you? Like, let's say somebody is bad mouthing me, and I tell them and I confront them, and they're like, why would I bad mouth you? Okay, so how will they say that in Hindi? Heather ji, you want to give it a try? Why would I bad mouth you?
मैं क्यों आपकी बुराई करूं? So मैं आपकी
आपकी, good that you are in.
आपकी बुराई क्यों, and then करूं.
Use it in the future, basically.
Oh, करूंगी.
Very good. मैं आपकी बुराई क्यों करूंगी? Awesome. मैं आपकी बुराई क्यों करूंगी? Like, why would I badmouth you? मैं आपकी बुराई क्यों करूंगी? Okay. Awesome. Questions? Anyone? Is this hard? Navneet, I've not spoken with you. How are you doing, Navneet?
Actually, I was the one who just said the girl was bad
Okay.
mouthing her teacher.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad you're participating then. You doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Awesome. Sangeeta ji, how are you doing?
मैं ठीक हूँ.
Awesome.
Another expression I came around was नीचा दिखाना or नीचा करना.
Okay, very good, right? So she's saying, like, another expression of, to put someone down is ko nicha dikhana. Ko nicha dikhana. And like basically ucha is up, nicha is down. So by definition is to put someone down is kisi ko nicha dikhana. Okay, awesome. So now we'll do the opposite of bad mouthing, which is to praise someone. And then as it like we'll change the topic slightly, which is the slightly more advanced version of conjunctive word. So to praise someone, Sangeeta ji, maybe you should continue to praise someone.
प्रशंसा करना.
Okay, ki prashansa karna, which is a more formal word. Ki prashansha karna. Ki prashansha karna. And the most common one is ki tarif karna. Which is not tariff, don't read it as tariff, like the Texas one. Ki tarif karna. Okay, ki tarif karna. Basically, ki ta, and then your reef. Ki tarif karna. Ki tarif karna. Okay. Can you make a sentence of that, Sangeeta ji? When will you use ki tarif karna or ki prashansa karna?
I guess in the more formal situations you would use prasansa.
Okay. No, make a sentence, a simple sentence.
Using prasansa.
Yeah, either one is fine for me.
I can't think of anything right now.
You don't want to tarif someone, huh? No, I'm just kidding. Ki tarif karna. Let me come up with a quick sentence for ki tarif karna.
Can I say one
मैंने
example?
उसकी प्रशंसा की.
Okay, that's a good one. मैंने उसकी प्रशंसा की. Okay, go for it. I think Trisha or Anushka, who was that?
It's Trisha.
Okay, go for it.
मैं आपकी तारीफ करती हैं.
Okay, very good. So it will be मैं आपकी तारीफ. I'm going to put 1, 2, तारीफ करती. Because it's मैं, it would be, it'll be, I think, is it going to be है or हूँ? What do you think?
It's करती हूँ.
Very good. मैं आपकी तारीफ करती हूँ. Awesome. मैं आपकी तारीफ करती हूँ. Okay. It can also mean to appreciate someone. Okay, just to be clear, right? Um, it's basically like when you go to someone's house and they serve you quite well, and you're like, मैं आपकी hospitality की तारीफ करती हूँ. I appreciate your hospitality. Okay. um, Now we'll shift it. So just remember these 4 or 5 conjunctive verbs where the base noun is feminine. Okay. So we started with to help, which is ki madad karna. Then to search or to look for is talash karna, ki talash karna. To look after is ki dekhbhal karna. To badmouth someone is ki burai karna, and to praise someone is ki tarif karna. Okay, at a minimum remember these 5. Okay, and then as you hear other speakers using more of these, it'll make more sense. Okay, Nandini ji, your hand is raised. Are you want to ask a question?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
please, Ashu Ji. I'm getting a bit confused here. If I want to say he praises him, where in the tarif karti, it will remain as karti, or if he did the praise, does it become karta, or because of the aapki, the karna, which one does it follow for the gender? The karta or karti there?
So give me the scenarios. मैं आपकी तारीफ.
Like, okay, if you say he
Mhm.
praises him,
He praises
or
him.
praises him. It's just that I'm not clear in my head about whether I should say karti hai or wo
Let's say you
uski.
are doing. So what about you? Nandini is basically
Yeah.
Ashu versus Nandini is Kelly.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's right.
Nandini,
That's right.
yeah. Right. So
No,
Nandini.
whoever starts, does that matter? Whoever's doing the praising.
Yeah.
Does
So
it follow
Nandini,
them or?
Yeah, that's right. So Nandini आशु की तारीफ करती है.
करती है.
नंदिनी कैली की तारीफ करती है.
करती है. But what if Ashu Ji is praising Kelly Ji?
Okay, so let's do this one. आशु Kelly की तारीफ करता है.
So it follows the person who's doing it, because
That's right.
the person who is doing the praise.
That's right. So same thing if Ashu is doing it for Ted. Ashu Ted की तारीफ करता है.
So if I wanted to say he praises him, I would say वो उसकी तारीफ करता है. Is that
That's
right?
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
No worries. It's all good. Hopefully it helps. Other as well. So now this will be harder. So far, if you guys recall, we have not done anything in the past. Okay, where we are using the name construction. So far, it's all simple tenses, like maybe past continuous or present continuous. Okay, now let's look for something more interesting. Okay, which is basically, let's say okay, so let's say I have a very simple sentence called he drives a car. This is the first one. Okay, second one is he drove a car. So this is basically present indefinite tense. Then this is the past indefinite, he drove a car. And the third one is he used a car. Okay, let's try to deconstruct all of them. Kelly ji, you want to tell us? He drives a car. How will you say that? And for the sake of example, you can for drive you can just use the word drive karna. I'm okay with that. He drives a car.
वो एक गाड़ी चलाता है or drive है.
Okay, so you can say वह गाड़ी चलाता है, or you can say वह कार drive करता है. Just for the simplicity, I'm using this drive करता है. Right? Now, in this case, if a guy is there, we are conjugating it based on the guy. If it is girl, वह drive करती है. Okay? let's see in the past. He drove a car. Kelly, why don't you continue with this one? He drove a
So,
car.
उसने एक गाड़ी drive karti की.
उसने कार ड्राइव की or
की.
करी. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if it is a girl or a female, it would be the same. उसने कार ड्राइव की.
गाड़ी.
Right. So in this case, basically, whether it is in the first case, in the present tense, the subject, based on the gender of the subject, you're conjugating this one. In the past tense, it's basically the object, especially when you're using ne, it's the object, the gender of the object that is telling whether you should conjugate based on that or, okay? So if it is masculine, usne kiya. If it is feminine, it will be ki. Okay. Now let's see how it works with the conjunct verb. Kelly, do you want to continue with this one? He used a car.
He used a car, not he used to drive a car. Okay. I was thinking of the wrong one. Let's see. So उसने एक गाड़ी, उसने एक गाड़ी का इस्तेमाल किया. Is that where you would use that?
Okay. उसने गाड़ी का इस्तेमाल किया. Now, it probably came to you automatically, but someone can ask you, Kelly, it's usne, it's car, it's drive, and then you use ki here. Okay. And because car is feminine, you put ki here. Okay. You have car also here. You have usne also here. Okay. Why are you not using ki at the end? Why are you using kiya at the end?
Always istimal kiya. That's all.
Yeah.
Ka istimal kiya. It's just in my brain. I don't know.
How will you respond to them?
I
Yeah.
guess it's, well, istimal is masculine, right? So that's
right.
and I
That's
remember I looked at it in the book that it's funny that you do when I think about it. If I don't think about it, I understand. If I think about it, then I don't understand.
Yeah. So it's better to remain oblivious for the most part, right? Life is much easier, right? I mean, that it's so you are absolutely right. Okay, you are absolutely right. So, when you're using a conjunctive verb with the ne construction, okay, it's the base, the gender of the base noun that takes the the precedence. So gender of the base noun of the, hopefully you can read it, of the base noun. And because istimal, the kiya is used because of istimal. Okay, and that's why you are using this. So hopefully it makes sense. I don't know if you follow the trend, but when we use the first one, he drives a car. Whoever is saying it, based on that, you will conjugate karna. Okay, he drove a car. In the past tense, is the object that is deciding whether it is how this will be conjugated, because car is feminine. Isne car drive ki. Okay, but in the conjunctive verb, it's basically the gender of the base noun. Okay, istimal is considered masculine. That's why it's always istimal kiya. Okay, I'll give one more example. Hopefully we're doing okay with time. Let me write down the rule. Maybe you can write down the rule as well in the notes, and that way at least you will remember what we are learning. Okay, so the rule is and this part, if it is hard, don't worry. Okay, in a ne construction, conjunct verb, conjunct verbs, they agree with its base noun. They agree with its base noun. Now, if you ask Hindi speakers why they are doing it, it'll be hard for them to just tell you the reason behind it, because they just learn it naturally. So in the case of you, Trisha and Anushka, you will most likely learn this concept naturally as a matter of your parents talking to you in Hindi. Okay, so if this rule doesn't make sense to you, don't worry about it, don't get intimidated. Rule is because as we get older, like, it's hard for us to just learn the way kids learn the language, right, which is just naturally in an emergent method. So that's why we end up using the rules. Okay, so I'll use one more example here, and I think all of you should try this one. That way at least you can test your understanding. So let's say he waited for train. That's the question you have. He waited for the train. Remind me, to wait, we did in the previous class. What is to wait? Let's say, Sunita ji, to wait.
Is it intazar?
Very good. And what is intizar? Is it masculine or feminine?
Masculine?
Okay, so it would be ka intizar.
Intazar ka.
Ka intizar.
Karna.
Very good. Okay, so now he waited for the train. Which tense it is being used in? Is it present, past?
Past.
Past. So one thing is clear, the sentence is written in past. Okay, is it intizar karna? Is it a transitive verb or intransitive verb? Is there an object or is there no object? Transitive verb. That's another rule. Transitive verb. So if it is simply he waited, it would be
Usne intazar kiya.
very good, right? Because intizar is masculine, right? Even if it is a female that is saying it, it would be
Kiya also, because it goes with the
that's right.
his name.
Right? Usne intizar kiya. Okay, awesome. Even if it is a girl is saying it, usne intizar kiya. Now he waited for the train. How will you say that?
उसने ट्रेन के लिए का इंतजार किया.
उसने ट्रेन का इंतजार किया. So this kiya really goes with intizar, and intizar is masculine. That's why that's how it is conjugated. Okay. You will never say intizar ki. Okay, I mean, you can say it, it's grammatically not correct, but you will not say intizar ki. Okay, or intizam ki. Okay, or all the other ones that we learned in the previous class. Questions on this one? Anyone? Ulina ji, question? Is it hard? Easy?
It's hard, and it needs more time to digest and practice.
Okay, no, I
But
agree.
this explanation helps a lot.
Yeah, it's many combinations. You're absolutely right, and that's what makes it a little bit hard. Nandini ji, question?
I think it's more of a statement. It looks like if you're starting with ka intizam, kiya, ki, madad, ki.
That's right.
So it just follows that pattern. That's how it looks like.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the thing what you're highlighting is, the more you start using these phrases, it'll just become part of your, basically conscious or memory. So it'll become just naturally, just like the way, native speakers or the kid, they start learning, ki madad ki or ka intizar kiya. Okay, it'll just come, or ka istemal kiya. Yeah, it'll come just like that. Okay. Any other thoughts? So today we
Yes,
learned.
if I may, Ashu Ji, you gave us two examples. The first was he waited. Usne intazar kiya. The second was he waited for the train. Usne train ka intazar kiya.
Replace train with anything you want in life. You waited for something, just put anything that you want to put. उसने plane का इंतजार किया, you can put plane also. उसने, you know, if you waited for food, you can say उसने food और खाने का इंतजार किया. Khana plus ka, you end up using oblique case of khana, which is food. He waited for food. उसने खाने का इंतजार किया. उसने dinner का इंतजार किया. उसने Uber का इंतजार किया. Uber taxi का इंतजार किया. Right? What else? You can put anything you want, but it will be always का इंतजार किया. If that's where you were going, you know, Tom.
Yes, I was trying to avoid the ka, the ki, or the k as a postposition, but unfortunately, although it's associated with the verb and the gender of the base noun, it's still a postposition. So it would affect, for example, in this case, kana, which would have to become kane because of this postposition, ka, associated with our conjunct verb.
So remember, it's just like you use this postposition just like, you know, someone's help or objects इंतजार. Okay, खाने का इंतजार, खाने का, you know, इस्तेमाल. So that's why it's basically just, this is like apostrophe s, right? We don't say it in English like that, like, you know, but that's how it behaves.
Actually, I think it is like to wait for.
Yep.
Ka intezar karna is to wait for. If we think of to wait for, then it gets a bit easier.
Yep.
So is that why that was when Sunita said it, she said it the way I would have said it, which was like usne train ke liye ka intezar.
Yes, she automatically said ke liye.
No, that's what I would have done. So is that ka kind of is that replacing or not replacing, but is it just that you don't use ke liye in that example, or?
I will not use ke liye. I will not use ke liye. I will say usne train ka intezar kiya. You know, if she waited for someone, like usne Kelly ke liye, you know, no, even there, usne Kelly ka intezar kiya. You know,
kind of taking care of that then.
If it is for, usne Kelly ke liye, you know, samosa liya, like, you know, you will not, for you basically, okay? There it is a clear-cut use for. That's why it's ke liye. This is not really, even though in English we are using for, it's really like, you know, a real conjunct verb, which is object's possession. That's why you use ka, ke or ki, not ke liye. Ke liye is not really showing the possession of the object and this base noun of conjunct verb. I know I use a lot of loaded words, so if something is off.
No, but I think that's what you were saying. Like when I was reading the book, I still can't quite capture that apostrophe s. the way he explains it, but it might, you know,
because actually in French we would not use for in this case neither.
What did you say, Sunita ji? I think I missed that.
Yeah, in French we would not use for in this case. We're waiting. We would just say we're waiting the train. We wouldn't say we waited for the train.
I see. Nandini ji, I think your comment, say it. I think, yeah, you want to say something, Nandini ji?
Not really. I think Heather ji put it very succinctly, and I can't get my head around it. I'll just have to think about
let me read it.
How to use it.
She's saying, it's like you did the waiting of the train, okay? Which sounds odd in English, but kind of makes sense in Hindi, which is true, right? Multiple ways you can approach it. The way, you know, Heather ji is saying it, like, you know, I do help, which is like, I did help Ron. मैंने Ron की मदद की, which sound odd in English, but it's someone's help. Okay, the other one is you just remember the verb की मदद करना, की तलाश करना, का इंतजार करना, and it becomes part of it. Your you know, vocabulary set. That's the other way of doing it. Third thing is you just realize that, you know, it's slightly different than how you're saying it in English. That's the third one. Okay. Awesome. So with that in mind, I'm going to stop the Zoom broadcast, you know, not the Zoom, but the Facebook. So thank you so much.